Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. So today we will see how to export OpenTelemetry Metrics to Prometheus for .NET application. We will see how to set up a Docker for containerization. Then we will instrument the .NET application using OpenTelemetry and expose the metrics to Prometheus for detailed analysis. So first, let's see the prerequisites. You should have an AWS account with Ubuntu 24.04 EC2 instance up and running. Then you should have a .NET SDK, .NET SDK, Docker and Prometheus installed in your system. So let's move on with the practical. Our first step is set up Ubuntu EC2 instance. So first let's update the package list. For that, command is sudo apt update. So let's copy it and paste it. Now our package list is updated. So next, let's install the .NET SDK. If you don't have it, let's install it on your system. So let's copy this command and paste it. Now after installing the .NET SDK, let's install the Docker. Now our Docker is also installed. After installing it, let's start the Docker using sudo systemctl start docker command. After starting it, enable the Docker using sudo systemctl enable docker command. Then we will use Docker to pull the Prometheus image. So now our Prometheus is also pulled. So our next step is set up .NET project with OpenTelemetry. So for this example, we will use a sample .NET application from our GitHub repository, OpenTelemetry, Prometheus for .NET app. So let's clone it. For that, we will use this command. Paste it. After this, let's navigate to the project directory. Now our next step is instrumenting the .NET application with OpenTelemetry. So first, let's open the program.cs file. For that, we will use nano command. Here, in the top side of the code, we will add some lines. We will add a using system.globalization and using Microsoft ASP netcore.mvc. So let's copy them. Here, this whole is the import section. So this line imports the necessary namespaces and including those for OpenTelemetry, for ASP.NET Core Matrix and Prometheus. And this each namespace provides classes and methods. Then next is the creating the web application section, which will initialize the ASP.NET Core Application Builder, and the service name here is roll dice. Then next is add services to the container. This will add the support for the controller of your application. Then next is create a custom meter for the API. This creates a custom meter named roll dice metrics to track the metrics for this application, and a counter metric called HTTP request total, which will track the total number of HTTP requests. Then next is configuring the OpenTelemetry for logging. This will configure the OpenTelemetry to handle the logging with the service name roll dice add console exporter right here. This will set up the console logging to output the telemetry data, which is useful for debugging. Then next is configure OpenTelemetry for tracing and metrics. This configures the OpenTelemetry tracing and HTTP matrix, which instruments the HTTP request to track the HTTP client's interaction, then exports the trace data to the console, this section right here, and this will expose the matrix to the Prometheus using the Prometheus exporter method. Then next is building the application and configuring the middleware. This uses the app.use routing. This set up the request routing and app use HTTP matrix. This integrates the Prometheus HTTP matrix, which will automatically tracks the detail about the incoming HTTP request. Then exposing the matrix endpoint right here. Then next is handling the roll dice endpoint in this section. It has the handle roll dice method and roll dice method. The roll dice method here generates the random number between 1 and 6, and handle roll dice requests to the roll dice endpoint. This will rolls a dice using the roll dice method and locks the result. Then lastly is running the application. This will start the web application and begins listening for incoming HTTP requests. So let's save the file. Now next, let's open the my Prometheus app.csproj file using the nano command. Here we will update the versions of some dependencies. Make sure to update the versions of the dependency to their latest version, so our code won't throw an error. So here first is the project definition line. This part specifies that the project uses the Microsoft.NET.SDK.Web SDK which is specifically designed for building the web application using .NET Core. Then next is the properties group section. This has the target framework, which specifies the .NET version, which is 8.0. Then there is nullable. This setting, in if enables nullable reference. Type is C hash. Type in C hash. It ensures that the code explicitly handles the null values, reducing null reference errors and increasing the code safety. Then implicit using. When this is set to enable, this feature automatically includes common using directives so that you don't need to write them on the top of each file. The next is item group. This section lists all the external dependencies that the project requires. So let's save the file. Now next, open the prometheus.yaml file. Here in the scrap configs targets, instead of localhost, we will give our public IP address. Make sure to give your own IP address, public IP address. Let's save the configuration file. Now our next step is build and run the .NET application. So let's build the application using .NET build command. Next, let's run the application using .NET run command. Now this will start our application and it will expose the /matrix endpoint for Prometheus to scrap. So now let's open another tab. Sorry. First, let's see if our application is running properly or not. To test that, you can access the endpoint http:// then your public IP address on 8080. Okay. As you can see, our application is running properly. So next, let's again navigate to the project directory. Then we will run the Prometheus container using the sudo docker command. This command will run the container on port 9090. Now our container is also running. So next, let's check if Prometheus is correctly scrapping the matrix from your .NET application. So first, Let's copy public IP address and paste it in the URL, then colon 9090, which is port number for Prometheus. Hit enter. So here you can see the Prometheus interface. So let's navigate to the targets. First go to the status, then go to targets. So as you can see, our job name, which is my Prometheus app, is up and running. It's scraping the metrics. So today we have successfully deployed the .NET application that exposes the HTTP metrics using OpenTelemetry. And we have also monitored it using the Prometheus running in Docker. So this setup will allow you to monitor the performance and health of your .NET application, and it helps you to ensure that your application performs efficiently, which makes it easier to diagnose issues, and it helps to improve the performance of the application. So that's all for today, guys. Thank you.